Alright, in this video, we're going to look at example 1 from section 5.2, and we're going to use properties of exponents. And I have a list or a little chart here of all those properties so we can reference back to those. So first example, or the question says, how can you rewrite each expression using the properties of exponents? So in part A, we have 81 to the 5/6 power times 81 to the negative 1/3 power. And what we have here is, this is our product of powers. Sorry about that. I should say powers, but product of powers. So what we're looking to do is we're multiplying the bases, and when you do that, you can add up the exponents. So you would have m plus n, and in our specific example, we would have 5/6 plus negative 1/3. So this is going to become 81 to the 5/6 plus negative 1/3 power. And now we need to add these fractions, so we need a common denominator. So this would be 81 to the 5/6 plus, let's say, negative 2/6. And then we can add those up. So 81, 5 plus negative 2, that would be 3. So this would be to the 3/6 power. 3/6 we can obviously reduce, so that would be 81 to the 1/2 power. And then you might remember to rewrite this as a radical and see if you can do anything with it. And in this case, we can. So this would be the square root of 81, which we know is 9. So that would be the simplified version or the rewritten expression. Okay. But you just want to reference back to your properties here. All right. So use this chart up here and reference this if you haven't seen a lot of these in a while. In part B, we have all variables mixed in. So we have x and y instead of a base of 81, and we have some, fractional powers, and for the y just a 3. What I'm going to suggest to do in part B is I'm going to simplify the inside first, and I'll worry about that 2/3 in a minute. So I'm looking at these two, this x and this x to the 1/2. Hopefully you remember that x is to the first there. And this is our quotient of powers. So this is this rule here, where we're going to wind up subtracting. So to rewrite this one, this is going to become, so we're going to have x to the first minus 1/2, y to the third, and all of that raised to the 2/3 power. So x minus 1/2 is pretty simple. That's just going to give us 1/2, and then everything else will just stay the same for now. Let's clean up that 3. And now we've gotten rid of that quotient. We use the quotient of powers. So now we are going to use the power of power. All right, so that's this next one here. All right, so anything raised to a power, what you're going to wind up doing is you're going to multiply those exponents. And I'm going to show all the work here. Some of this, as you get better at it, you won't have to show everything. But what's going to happen here is this is going to become x to the 1/2 times 2/3 and y to the third times, y to the third times 2/3. So multiply these out. X would be, our 2's would kind of cancel out, right? And then we'd have x to the 1/3 power. And then the y, these 3's would drop out, and we would have y squared. What you would want to do here is you do want to write this in radical form. So the y squared isn't going to be rewritten in radical form, but we don't want this x to the 1/3. So we're going to rewrite this, and you'll leave the y squared, but the x to the 1/3 we're going to rewrite as the third root of x. All right, and this is really I'm going to say the best way to write the final answer. This specific part here technically isn't wrong, but there are going to be times where teachers or specific classes or online programs or whatever it is are going to ask them for radical form or some kind of reduced radical form. So you do want to usually write this the way that we box this in at the end with that radical. All right, and that's it. For these type of problems, always reference back to this little kind of chart here, or this table, whatever you want to refer to it as. But you've got all your properties of your exponents, and that'll help you with these type of problems. Take your time with them. Make sure you're doing the properties correctly, and don't rush through them, and you should be able to get most of these correct with minimal effort.